Welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Bwoy Cuisine. We were away for a while, but now we're back. Didn't mean that we stopped cooking though. Today, I'm going to be making curry shrimp. For our curry, we're going to be specifically doing Jamaican curry shrimp with a little bit of secret weapon. Come on in here, let me show you what we got going. So we have our Jamaican curry. Of course, there are many brands down there, but they are somewhat similar. You know Jamaican curry when you get it. The aroma is a bit strong and pungent, it stands up. Then we're going to use some garlic. Our secret weapon, of course, is our Island Bwoy jerk seasoning. We're going to be using a butternut squash, or you can use pumpkin if you want, and this is going to be our thickener. A lot of times you get curry and they'll use potato as a thickener in there. Of course, essential are onion and scallion, peppers, some fresh thyme, and scallion. The star of the show, of course, is our shrimp. Today we're using some wild caught shrimp, and like the curry, it's also strong in aroma compared to the farm raised curry. Because we're doing curry for seafood, you want to make your sauce ahead of time separate, so that when you add your seafood to it, you don't overcook it. It's going to be fairly a quick process, and with the size of our shrimp, it shouldn't take us more than about 3 minutes to get them done. So, to get us started, we're going to put some oil in our pan, and we want to make sure our pan is, we don't want to heat our pan too much before we add our ingredients. Now, Jamaicans differ from house to house in how they start their curry. A lot of times, a lot of houses you go to, what they will do is burn the curry. So what it does is you get that strong aroma that's going to come through. So to the cold oil, we're adding about 2 teaspoons to almost a tablespoon of curry powder. And what we're going to do is just burn that in there a little bit, and we're going to do that a little bit. Keep moving it around until it starts to bubble. And you can already see it doing that. And once it starts doing that, we're going to add our onion and scallion. I can't wait for them to have smell-o-vision. And then we're going to add our garlic. Now at this point, I want my garlic to start smelling before I start adding any other ingredient. Now, curries are cooked in many ways. There are many ways to cook curry. But for us in Jamaica, we like to add, when we're in the bush and we're cooking what we call boat or running boat, we will use coconut milk or just straight water. At home, when we're doing the big pot and we're having, like you go to your dance halls and stuff like that, then people just use straight water. So our onion and our scallion has quelled. The garlic is now aromatic, and we're going to add our peppers. I don't want to add my jerk just yet, because you know what's going to happen? That aroma is going to kick up and just hit me in the nose, and then I don't want to start coughing. It's a good sign when you're cooking Jamaican curry. So there we have that going, and we just saute the peppers until they start to become glossy and shiny, and that's when we're going to add our squash. This is a butternut squash that I'm using, and the butternut squash is just going to act as give the sauce body. And because we're using coconut milk, we're going to add some water to it, because by the time it's cooked, it's going to reduce and get real thick. Alright? Come on over here and look at my pot, please. So, curry is used in Jamaica for a lot of things. We curry goat, which is most popular. Incidentally, if anybody asks and wants to know, curry is my favorite dish. In particular, curry goat. I could eat curry goat, and if the goat is cooked properly and the sauce is rich and nice the way I like it, all I want is just the gravy and a pot of rice, and I'll go to town on that. So our sauce is going there, simmering, and we're going to let that simmer a bit and then add our jerk seasoning to it. Now, if you don't have Island Boy jerk seasoning, you can get a little bit of ginger, some fresh thyme, and salt, pepper. Some people like to use the seasoning powder or seasoned salt. I don't like using that stuff. So it's a fairly simple dish, but it goes a far way in terms of the flavor that jumps out at you. So already you can see my sauce is getting a little bit thick. So I'm going to add a little bit of water to it. There we used a cup of coconut milk, and to that we're going to add about a half cup of water so that it can simmer. All right. Now, what you want to do is we're going to be layering the flavors, so we're going to let that simmer, while that cooks. So it's going to come back to a boil, and then we're going to kind of finish it off and round it out. As I was saying earlier, in Jamaica, popular food that we will curry is your goat, then your chicken, and those two fight. Goat is a bit, excuse me, goat is a bit more expensive than chicken, and so you'll find that people will have chicken more often, although there's a tug of war which one is more popular. Vegetables is done, but not as much as you won't see it. It's very popular nowadays. Now that people are becoming more health conscious, people will try and, if it's there, they might take it to be kind, but they prefer chicken or goat. There are a few people who do beef as well, but it's not very popular. Incidentally, curry was introduced to Jamaica in the 18th century by the East Indians that came over as part of the slave trade, and indentured. A lot of them were indentured servants. So I'm going to put these away while that's simmering down. I wanted to show you with the shrimp, unlike the farm-raised shrimp, a lot of times these came with the shell on, and I took the shell off and actually saved them, and I'm going to use it to make a stock later on. But what I wanted to make sure and show you is how we would devein it, okay? And what you want to devein it for is to make sure that you get the intestinal tract out. So we start from the back and just cut right through it. And as you can see here with these guys, it's very thick. Now this is part of the stomach here, this thick piece, but here's what we're trying to take out. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but that basically is the cockatrack, as some of us like to call it. Okay, and basically your shrimp there is ready to go. Okay, so we turn down our heat a little bit, let this simmer, and at this point we're almost done. So what I'm going to add is some fresh thyme leaves, and that's going to just bump up the flavor at the last minute there. Okay, I can't wait for smell-o-vision, man. So we're going to turn that down a bit. And as you can see, it's starting to thicken up again. Now, the shrimp has water in it, so that's going to add to the texture of the sauce, and it will thin it out a little bit. What I wanted to do was to make sure to give the curry a little bit of time to cook. You don't want to have it your curry not cooked well enough. As kids growing up, they used to tell us that, you know what, if you don't cook your curry well enough, it will run your belly. So at this point, we're gonna add, let me taste my curry and see where we're at with salt. Whoops, uh-oh. I gotta go fishing there. All right, let me try this then. All right, so the curry is very pungent there. I think I want to add a little bit more curry to mine. I want it to stand out a bit. So for me, I'm gonna add a little bit more of this guy. And on top of that, what's going to also elevate the flavor is the salt. Once you add the salt to it, the curry is just going to go like big push in terms of flavor explosion. All right, so I'm going to be adding some salt here now. This is about a 1/4 teaspoon, and the shrimp that we have here is about almost a pound of shrimp, a little bit over 3/4, almost a pound. So now that our sauce is there going, I turn it down a little bit, we're gonna add our shrimp and then get ready to plate up. Oh man. Come over and look in these ways. Now, I tell you something, I personally like the shrimp that are with the shell on when I'm cooking it and with the head, because you get all that flavor that is gonna come out and just create that bridge of flavor between on the inside of the shrimp with the head and the juices from there. Or shrimp, we want to make sure that when they're cooked, they look like a C. If it looks like an O, that means it's overcooked. And so we got to be mindful of that, okay? So while that's going, we'll just clean up a little bit, and then we'll be ready to plate up shortly. How you doing, camera lady? Your nose all right? If you want to sneeze, sneeze. They don't mind. So, the color of them is starting to change. You get that nice red, deep red, rich color that's coming out. And don't be bashful. If you see, if your sauce is too thick, you can always add a little bit more. This is enough to feed 1-2 hungry Jamaicans, possibly 3 locals, Americans. Now, curry in Jamaican restaurants, a lot of people like to have curry with rice and peas. My rule of thumb is, for me, anywhere I go, if goat is on the menu and it's curry, I want white rice. I'm okay having rice and peas with curry chicken, but for goat, definitely white rice. For seafood, for me personally, I want white rice with it, because that way I know I get that rich umami feeling. And typically what we like to use in Jamaica is a long grain rice. But you can also use the perfumey rice like a jasmine or a basmati. The long grain rice works well because it tends to soak up that flavor of the curry. And like I always like to talk about, creating bridges. Okay, so our shrimp is ready now, and we're going to get ready to serve. So here we go. Turn off that bad boy, and you look, you see that deep, rich flavor or rich yellow color that's coming out of it. We'll put our curry there. Like I said, we're looking for C. If it gets to an O, that's how you know your shrimp is overcooked. So another dish that we like to do in Jamaica is called rundown, and it's heavily with the coconut milk. And so it looks like a broken sauce, but trust me, that's rich of flavor in terms of what we present there. So we have our shrimp, and we're gonna put I think 4 is more than good enough. These are 16-20 shrimp, and so you know they're big enough. When they say 16-20, it means like 16 to 20 shrimp will make one pound of shrimp. Okay, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. or curry shrimp. Hope you enjoy it. Actually, I should try and taste this thing for you guys and let you know how it is. I know you're going to be envious of me, but it's all right. One day, maybe you will come and cook with me. Look forward to that. Yeah, man, for real. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Cooking with Island Boy Cuisine. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. Look forward to your comments. Let's get back at it. Take care. Yeah, man.